And we're back.
Hello!
Hi.
We're gonna hit the ground running because we only have about an hour to record with, so let's go for it. I peek into the bathroom, watching as Carl stares at himself in the mirror, running his fingers through his hair. Geraldo! Harry?
Dexter?
Harry! Harry.
Harry.
I like that we were gonna hit the ground running and Harry's gone.
So he hit the ground running.
Oh god. I fell asleep.
Oh wow.
Fantastic.
Which was really weird, because in my mind I was like, I swear I'm talking. What's going on here? I hear them calling for me. Something's not right.
Oh man.
I choose to believe that me calling him fat and stupid woke him up.
Sam, you've killed me. Oh, who just joined?
Oh, hi, Nick.
Oh, hey Nick.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, just so you know, we are recording Nick, so here we go.
I thought so.
Since Matt's not here, Seb, you want to be Matt? Or, yeah, you want to be Carl.
I will become Matt. Hold on, I need to be at work.
Alright, well, yeah, we'll see
I
you
will-
when you get back out of work.
Just, I shall embody Matt's whole presence.
Did he just leave?
Anyway, hit the ground running. Easier for you to say. You can't even grow hair.
Carl sets the trimmer down, running his fingers through his beard.
You tell him, Chase. That's not his voice.
I mean, basically, Daxton is your voice, because he's a nerd.
Yeah, you tell him, Chase.
Carl looks at me, and I had to agree that he looks quite a bit better. You look fantastic. A lot cleaner.
Thanks.
Now you might want to get the gamer stink off you. You smell like You smell like JRPGs and energy drinks.
I find myself snickering, though Carl doesn't look anywhere near a point of laughter. He just quietly shuts the door in my face.
So Chase, didn't expect I'd see you again.
I look over at Daxton, who's standing beside the bathroom door with his arms crossed. Neither did I. Carl asked me to come over, so I did. Daxton nods. Do you think he's got this?
Haven't known Carl long enough to say, really. Hope he does.
I can't help but thinking a lot of things could go wrong, you know? Carl doesn't get out much.
It's weird thinking about the future like that, isn't it?
I cock my head some in the amphibian's direction. What do you mean?
The infinite possibilities of things that can happen.
So, expect the worst?
With an infinite number of timelines, there's no such thing as worst case scenario. Just an infinite number of varying shades of bad.
Do you actually believe that?
As I say, this is a very optimistic conversation.
He clicks his tongue, waving his hand dismissively.
No, it was in an episode of...
Ad Astra.
Yeah.
Daxton perks a furless brow toward me at the sound of the front door opening. We turn and make our way toward the entrance hall next to the kitchen. The familiar heavy footfalls are a dead giveaway of who's here.
Didn't know job interviews were a fucking group event.
Alright, so since you're here with Flynn now, let's hand Carl / Matt over to you, DJ. You get picked on.
Aw, dude. Alright.
A little less high and a little more depressed.
Fine.
Flynn's tall form meanders in, carrying a few Tupperware containers in a plastic bag, because remember, Harry, we gotta hit the ground running. He doesn't look at either of us.
Well, he wanted us to be here, and I didn't have anything else going on. He's in the shower now.
I fidget with the inside of my pockets, trying to look nonchalant. Daxton's big blue eyes dart from me to Flynn, then back again.
I have to go pee in something. I'll be right back.
Woo!
Go.
I like how he just,
Flynn's
like,
mouth
slides off the
twitches
screen.
as if he's about to call Daxton back, but relents. Instead, he sets the bag on the kitchen island and begins rifling through it. His large tail twitches and he furrows his brow, seemingly trying really hard to concentrate on whatever he's doing. Which, as I look closer, is essentially just rearranging the Tupperware in the bag over and over. Flynn. He stops. He shifts his gaze toward me, and I'm at a loss of what to say. Part of me wants to call him a fucking weird, hypocritical asshole. The other part, well, I'm not really sure about the other part yet. Maybe if I broach the topic of...
Face. None of this shit matters.
He gestures between us.
I'm not going to try to speak cryptic to you here about feelings and shit. I just need to know you're going to keep your promise, okay?
He's frowning down at me, but his expression is more uneasy than outright stern. Flynn.
Fuck. Leave it.
His fist hits the countertop, and the next thing I know, he's moving around the kitchen and grabbing paper towels.
Lasagna's goddamn leaking everywhere. It's like a fucking menstrual pad in here.
Why'd you bring lasagna?
Because the lard ass needs to eat something besides pizza and self-hatred for a change.
As opposed to you who eats salads and self-hatred?
Shut the fuck up. At least I have a self.
What's that supposed to mean? This ellipses is mainly funny to me and maybe Harry.
I get it.
What was that supposed to mean? Flynn doesn't respond. The Gila busy with stacking paper towels underneath the bag before shoving it in the fridge. I hear the sound of hooves on floorboards and turn around. Carl had shuffled into the living room so quietly we didn't even notice.
How does it look?
He looks good, but I'm more concerned with the fact that he looks more insecure than I've ever seen him. He shifts from hoof to hoof, not making eye contact at all, his fingers pulling at the rolled up sleeves.
Very nice. You kind of look like you're pledging Alpha Lambda, but it works.
What?
Carl looks over at me, and I give a start, realizing how bad my silence must have seemed. You do look great, Carl.
But,
Daxton chuckles, and Carl's eyes widen.
What?
the beanie. Do you always wear that thing?
Carl lifts a paw to it.
Usually.
You can't wear that. How do you even get it on?
It's stretchy, and my head fur looks awful.
Seriously, you can't wear a beanie to an interview.
Carl's getting all fidgety again, so Finn butts in.
Don't wear it.
Oh, come on!
He looks sad and angry at the same time, which gives me some pause.
You gotta work with your shirt half off. I'll wear it if I want. This is my interview.
Usually Flynn would banter back, calling Carl a stupid dumbass or something of that nature, but he says nothing. After a couple of seconds of silence, Daxton coughs. Daxton looks at me, then back to Carl.
Well, I reckon that's alright.
That's not that.
Carl sneezes and shifts around again. He sneezes again. He then starts wiping his hand on Flynn's shirt.
You.
Basically.
We watch him expectantly.
Dudes, it's just... This feels weird, that's all.
It's new, you'll get used to it.
I pull up my phone to look at the time. Alright, we really need to head out. We should get there early. As we head to the door, Daxton makes as if to follow us. Flynn turns around to face him as Carl heads out the door.
Hey, Dax.
He stops.
What?
After the interview, meet Chase and some of our other friends. We're going to be doing something.
Wait, is Carl on board with this plan too? Daxton raises a brow.
Oh?
So could you fuck off for a bit?
Jesus, Flynn. Part of me wouldn't mind a guy with Daxton's attitude present at which will surely be the biggest downer of the week. And to keep Flynn in check. Daxton doesn't budge, giving Flynn an indiscernible look. After a while, Flynn just sighs, rubbing his brow.
Gotta do with personal stuff.
Oh, really? See, why didn't you just say that?
You wouldn't want to come. There's gonna be some heavy shit.
Are you the heavy shit in question?
Flynn says nothing. After a moment, Daxton just exhales and shakes his head.
Just let me know how the interview goes.
As the salamander passes me, he speaks in a hushed tone.
You deserve better, man. Bro, be real with yourself. You deserve better. Like, for real, there's damn and then there's damn.
And then there's God
And you're
damn.
kind of... You're kind of going a little too far in the damn direction.
I look down at my feet before heading out to the car.
You don't.
Carl still looks confused after Flynn and I came out to the car without Daxton.
Where's... my voice. Where's Dude Man?
I make a show of buckling my seatbelt.
We'll talk about it after your interview.
What? He's not coming? He's the guy who knows the guy who runs the place. He's the guy who knows the guy who runs the place.
Well, yeah, you weren't gonna be bringing him inside with you anyway.
Carl stares at the dashboard as I back out, pretending to be distracted so I can muster up something reassuring. You know, Carl, you should talk about some of your art while you're in there. I hear it's good to look like you have a passion, especially one that's tangentially related to what you do. To be honest, I have no clue what sort of skills you need at a print shop. I look in my rearview mirror at the Ram, who still isn't saying anything. Hopefully not many. By the way, Flynn. Flynn's nostrils flare as if he's bracing himself. The big lizard has his back up to his back. Wait, had to back his seat up all the way to give himself enough legroom in my tiny sedan.
My God, I feel that.
I need to stop by City Hall before, well, before we do the thing.
Why?
He responds with a wary dryness. I need to scan some photos to my thumb drive. I forgot to do it when I was there last. I know where everything I need is. Shouldn't take more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, okay. I got my key card in my wallet.
Flynn scratches his groin idly, looking out the window as we pass the diner. Kinda surprised he didn't protest more. Carl stays quiet as we drive through the rest of Echo. I swerve to avoid all the potholes. As emerging onto the highway, Flynn speaks up.
Could do some shit to celebrate you joining the workforce and such. Fancy ass organic store ramen with the spiced sausage stuff and lasagna. Same recipe that my uncle used.
That's premature, right?
There's a food reward waiting for you. Your fat ass can do anything.
I resist the urge to nod in agreement.
Hope you're right.
We fall back into silence, and it stays that way for the remaining 20-minute drive. Carl gets more nervous the closer we get. I can see his knees bouncing out of the corner of my eye as he stares out the window. Flynn reaches back and puts a hand on one of them as we pull into the parking lot of the print shop. The Gila mutters something to the Ram. I can't make any of it out. You look awesome, and you're gonna do amazing. Carl starts taking deep breaths, staring out the windshield. Just be yourself. Everyone loves a relaxed employee.
I wish you would have let me have a smoke before we left.
Yeah, going to an interview smelling like pot. Great idea. Carl giggles nervously, but otherwise doesn't move. Do you want us to go in with you? Carl shakes his head quickly, unbuckling his seatbelt as he opens the car door.
Nah, man. I'll be fine.
Okay, cool. I'll be waiting. He looks to Flynn, who just gives him a little nod. I grin at him, but he shuts the door and ambles up to the print shop. He pushes on the doors, and when they don't move, he pushes harder, shaking the glass. I start to open my door to tell him to pull instead, but he seems to figure it out before I have to and disappears inside. Oh, Carl.
Fucking hell.
I look over, and Flynn has his palm over his face. I sigh, leaning my seat back. I try and take a nap, because it feels like I haven't slept in ages for some reason. Though the heat beating down through the window starts becoming too uncomfortable. I turn the AC back on, then shuffle through the stations, but I only find Twangy Country and Mariachi. I look at the time. 10:10 a.m. If their interview started on time, then he was probably almost done with it by now. I sort of want to go inside, but I know Carl wouldn't want me to. I settle back again and close my eyes, trying to get some relief from the failing AC. Then the door rattles, and I hear haphazard footsteps. Oh, hello, whoever just, wait, no, that's not...
No, I just
John's sound.
unmuted, that's all.
Ah, okay. I open my eyes, but there's no one there. Flynn doesn't seem to have noticed, his own eyes closed. I do catch some movement disappearing around the side of the store, and I lean around to get a better look. I wait, but Carl, at least I think it's Carl, doesn't come back from around the corner. Looking around, I slowly open my door. Carl? Flynn awakens with a start, looking around some.
Yeah.
Nothing. Carl? I yell it, but he still doesn't come. Feeling some dread build up in my stomach, I get out of the car and slowly walk around the side of the building. Flynn joins me.
Hell's going on?
It's an alley between the print shop and what I think is a laundromat. Nothing is in the alley except for a few dumpsters and clumps of garbage. I step carefully around puddles covered in oil slick and wonder if maybe he really just wanted a smoke. Carl? Something shifts on the other side of one of the dumpsters, and I hear sniffling. Wordlessly, I walk around the dumpster to the other side. Carl is bent over, his back to me, paws on his knees. His whole body is shaking, and his breaths are ragged. Holy shit, Carl! Before I can do anything, Flynn's at his side.
You okay, man? What happened?
The stench of vomit hits my nose, and I don't need to look closely to know that to know what the puddle between Carl's hooves is. Carl makes sure to turn his face away from us, not saying a word. Shit. I dash back to the car and open the passenger door so I can get to the glove box. I pull out a few napkins before hurrying back to the ramp. When I return, Flynn is quietly rubbing his back. He takes them from me wordlessly and starts wiping his face. The last time I'd seen Carl like this was just last year, when he had his panic attack at school. I didn't think he'd have that problem now, after all the therapy and time away. I feel kinda useless just standing there watching them. At least he's not hyperventilating. The ram has his horns pressed up against the wall, taking deep breaths as he wipes his face again.
Why do I suck at everything?
He says it quietly, between gasps, but I can make it out.
Not everything. Come on, let's go.
He starts to pull on his arm, but he yanks it away from him violently.
Our DJ is going to check on our neighbor.
Oh, okay. Then I shall be new Carl. Don't touch me, bruh. Flynn and I are stunned into silence. I just stare at him, mouth open. He glances at me, and his eyes are red, and for once, it's not because of weed. Carl starts off toward the car on his own, spinning off to the side as he does. Carl, what happened? He whirls on me.
I fucked up. Obviously. Any more fucking questions?
Yeah, a few.
His voice breaks apart on the last sentence, and he turns away from us as his face starts to screw up. My stomach feels hollow as I watch Carl get into the car. I've never ever seen him like this. He immediately hunches forward behind the driver's seat, head in his paws. I slowly walk up to the driver's side door, feeling like shit myself. Flynn joins me. The Gila tugs at the scales around his chin, teeth grit. His expression is just bizarre, like intermittent smiling in between almost nauseous-looking face contortions.
Fuck.
We sit for a while, waiting to see if Carl is going to say anything. He does.
I'm sorry.
He blurts it out through his fingers. I look over at him, scared to say anything in case I say the wrong thing.
It was a disaster, dudes.
He takes in a deep, shuddering breath.
He could tell I wasn't into it right away. I was awkward as fuck.
He leans back and tugs at his shirt.
This shirt isn't me. I knew it, and it got me nervous. I've been nervous ever since I put these clothes, since I got this stupid trim.
We sit in silence for a long, long time, until Carl finally looks at me and smiles.
God damn it. We all know this was gonna happen, right? It's like a Pueblo of you, Chase. Of your uncle, Flynn. I'm just a fucker.
Nah. This is all my fault, man. Told you I was gonna coach you and never got around to it. And I'm the tit dirt that made Dax stay behind. Maybe he could have helped. I don't know.
The Gila takes in a seething breath.
Yeah, I can't be expected to go into this shit blind and spit out exactly what some mid-level manager like Skyle wants to hear. World's fucked like that, just banging walls sometimes.
Nah. Dude, I'm the one who screwed up the interview.
Carl tilts back into his seat.
Now, with that fuck up out of the way.
I sigh, looking at the hazy horizon, in the direction of where I know Echo is. On to the next.
None of this fucking matters, Carl. Don't worry.
Flynn gives me a look, then closes his eyes. I don't know if Flynn believes what he's saying. So with that, I turn on the ignition and pull out of the parking lot, leaving the printout shop and its alley far, far behind us.
Flynn can be, like, super sweet.
What was that?
Flynn, this was, like, really super sweet of Flynn.
Oh yeah. It's quiet inside. Not that I expect any noise or anything, but still. Flynn's desk looks pretty clean except for a stack of documents labeled March 1st County Code Amendment Board Review. Upon closer inspection, there also appears to be a book propped up against his monitor. Municipal Economic Development, Free Market Solutions for Public Problems. A sticky note is attached to the front with flowery cursive handwriting that states, "Read this." I hear Flynn step up beside me, seeming to notice my gawking. He doesn't say anything, though. Instead, he just walks over to his computer chair and takes a seat. Carl ambles in after him. If I didn't know any better, I'd think he was high, judging from how puffy and red his eyes are.
Don't actually come inside here too often, do you, Carl?
Carl shakes his head.
Still really weird that you're a secretary.
Carl half mumbles.
Clerk.
Flynn rests his elbows on the desk, rubbing his fingers together.
You know, elections are coming up here soon. There's a few positions up for grabs.
He looks to Carl, and takes a few seconds for Carl to look back and get the meaning.
That's cool, I guess.
Flynn opens his mouth, pauses, then speaks.
Maybe even the clerk position.
I was heading toward the mailroom, but that catches my attention. I stop. What? Do you think you'll be, like, voted out? Flynn shrugs.
Might not run.
Carl lets out a little huffy noise, sniffling and wiping his nose with the inside of his shirt. So you're gonna go back to unloading freight? Flynn doesn't respond immediately, as if weighing something in his mind. He pushes the power button on his desktop tower, and the whir of the internal fan breaks the silence.
May not even be here.
Even Carl looks up now.
Huh?
The Gila seems to grimace slightly, his maw pulled into a sneer as if whinging at himself.
Chase, you gonna get your shit scanned or not?
I straighten some, not really having expected him to shift focus and snap at me. Do we pry or do we head to the mailroom?
Pry.
I say head to the mailroom. Leave him alone.
You don't want to know why Flynn might be leaving Echo?
I mean,
You look me in the eye, DJ, and tell me you don't want to pry.
we're not doing video calls, so I don't have. Haha.
Alright, I'm getting FaceTime up.
1 second later, Alan calls me. Fine, pry. Yeah, pry.
Okay, well, if you're already saying pry, then I don't need to call. Hannah, Harry.
I guess
It
pry.
feels mean.
Alright. So I'm getting mostly prize. I'm just checking again. Harry, are you actually still awake or did you go back to sleep? I'm gonna assume that he's asleep.
There's our answer.
Probably asleep.
What the hell? What does he mean by that? Flynn, what? He's staring at me. It's like all the air has been sucked out of the room. I swallow. Are you going somewhere? Flynn looks to Carl as if expectant. Carl blinks, meeting Flynn's gaze.
Are you, dude?
Flynn's sharp stare lulls, but only slightly.
I don't know yet.
What the fuck?
Carl, it really doesn't... Shit. You see the way Chase is acting?
Carl looks at me a moment, then back to Flynn.
No?
His voice is quiet.
You're gonna leave too.
I don't want to leave, Carl.
Flynn shifts in his seat, his tail curled tight around the base post of his chair. Carl just seems still. I can't even see him breathing.
Jesus fucking Chase.
All I did was ask. Flynn reaches into his desk drawer and pulls out a can of lemon lime soda, holding it up to Carl's direction.
You did something, alright? Just give me a minute, alright? Need to talk to the Lord ass. Dear shit.
Ugh. I rub the space between my brow and step out of the room. The mailroom looks a little different for some reason. It's not nearly as neat as it was, with some of the parcel folders scattered on the main table, documents dog-eared and tape-tagged. I step forward, and the heel of my foot hits something hard and metal. It rolls out from beneath me, and I have to use my tail to catch my balance. Jesus fuck! I find myself involuntarily clutching my chest, trying to regain my composure as I check what I nearly broke my neck on. A fireplace poker? Well, actually, pokers. There's like 5 of them just sitting here on the floor. Thank God I didn't step on the pointed end. What are these even doing here? I step around the pile when I hear the sound of Flynn's raspy voice from the other room.
So, you didn't see anything?
Carl speaks next, but his tone is too low and rumbly to make anything out. I remember the other day that while I was working on the computer in the corner, I could hear most of what was being said in the main office. The walls are thin here.
Listen in.
Listen in.
Yeah.
It's not in my nature to do that.
Yes, it is.
It is part of your nature.
You're
I
chasing
like
me.
to give people their space.
Oh yeah,
Here's
you like to
space.
give everyone their space by telling them that I have a migraine all week.
Huh?
You don't remember Leo doing that?
Oh, I wasn't using my Leo voice.
I know,
Shit, if I was
I'm
Leo.
messing with you, DJ.
Oh, man. You know what? F it. I want to know what's going on.
Yeah,
Flynn's beef.
this is the kind of story.
I moved to the corner of the room and pressed my ear against the wall. At first I don't hear anything, but then Carl coughs and it sounds like he's right next to me.
Dude, I don't know what you're going off about.
Bullshit me.
Flynn snaps back. Silence follows, and I hear what sounds like metal scraping against the wall. The plaster drywall creaks ever so slightly in the reaction to Carl's shifting weight.
I don't know.
Flynn sighs.
But why didn't you tell me that you were... Yeah. But why didn't you tell me you were going?
Might not. Nothing's set in stone. It's not my decision anyway.
What do you mean it isn't your decision? Dude, you're like an adult with money.
I hear the sound of typing on an old mechanical keyboard, the intermittent pecking evident that it's Flynn.
My aunt. She wants to bring me up north for a while.
Oh.
Carl coughs again.
Is this for, you know, that FLDS stuff?
You know, I actually don't fucking know.
The office chair creaks. Flynn must be leaning back or standing up.
She gets all obsessed with shit, like she's religious and all that, but she couldn't give two fucks at that I like dick. She only believes what she wants to believe in, and a lot of this it's shit that's made up. Even more made up, I mean.
There's a pause.
Not to go full fedora on you. What I'm trying to say is, she's been pushing me to leave because she feels like we should.
And you're okay with that?
You've been saying everything's going to go to tits soon. The air's wrong, something's in the rocks. She's right. She's always right.
What?
Silence. Not even a shuffling of hooves or the squeak of a chair. I hold my
To
breath,
come around and see you
trying to hear
sleeping on
something.
them?
Anything. All I can hear is the slight ringing in my ear and the thud of my own heartbeat. It feels like minutes pass and nothing happens. Fuck, do they know I'm listening? I quickly step back from the wall and shuffle back to the center table with all the folders. My eyes dart to the doorway, half expecting Flynn to be standing with his blue-green eyes piercing right at me. But there's nothing. I'll have to ask Carl about all this when he's feeling better. For now, I should probably at least try to focus on the task at hand. It looks like some of the folders I went through are still on the desk. I thought I put those away. Maybe the mayor was checking to make sure I didn't take anything, or was just curious what I was looking at. Well, it doesn't matter now. It actually cuts down some of the work trying to find most of the stuff. I plug in my keychain thumb drive into the printer and begin scanning. I can't help but think about Carl in the print shop while I'm at it. He's basically been on a giant summer vacation for the past 2 years, with no real worries about money or anything. To go from that to having to wake up every morning at 6, then drive all the way to Peyton and do this for 8 hours? I mean, it's easy, I think. Once you get the basic handle of things, it's the kind of job you can kind of do on autopilot. You can drift away and just daydream most of the day. I had jobs like that growing up. Hell, if I went to Mesa instead of Pueblo, I would probably ended up behind the till at Leo's dad's place. Despite everything, I can't help but feel that might have actually been kind of fun. Leo's dad is really nice, always offering to help with things and never seeming too skeeved regarding gay stuff. But of course, I had to get away from this town. And Peyton's not far enough. I'm not even sure I'm still not even sure if I like journalism. I mean, the classes are interesting and all, but I'm imagining trying to sell myself and my work to all these outlets and... I don't know. I guess I really don't have the energy for it. Plus, I never really liked looking at myself on screen. Huh. I don't really remember seeing this one before. Must be from a folder I didn't look at. There's no descriptive text next to it. I placed the photo on the scanner. After a few minutes, I think I got most of what I needed. I removed my thumb drive and turned the power off the scanner. I step out into the hall. As I step out into the hall, I notice that the door to the mayor's office is open. It's still pretty quiet in here. You know, I never really knew much about Flynn's aunt. She was kinda in and out of his life growing up from what I recall, and usually didn't stick around Echo for long. Her and Flynn's uncle had a weird relationship, and it wasn't like I ever hung out at Flynn's place enough to learn more. He was always just a bit too old to really pal around with like I did the rest of the group. I mean, Leo was like a year younger, but he didn't really act like it. Flynn was basically an adult by the time he was 14 by the way he handled himself, all self-reliant and such. Curious, I step into the office, and am taken aback by how much it smells like potpourri. My nose takes me to the source, a small bowl filled with slightly decaying plant life and of a wide variety of colors. It gives the office a sort of flower garden scent, which really doesn't match the aesthetic. Black, white, and red everywhere. Like a supervillain who could only buy hobby shop decorations.
I want to write that supervillain.
I step over a small pile of alabaster quartz which sits in a ceramic dish on the floor. Which is strange, of course. There's a weird looking globe on the edge of her desk too. I notice, and I step closer and notice little prongs which hover over what I think is the meridian. Actually, there's no landmass indications, or any labeling on the sphere to speak of. I reach out and touch the smooth plastic surface. Pressing down, I give the globe a gentle spin. It rotates. The middle prong begins to bounce like a dowsing rod before sticking to the surface. As the sphere continues to spin, the sticky effect lessens and it bounces back. Huh. Must be a magnet on the other side. I spin it some more, and the other prongs lean slightly towards the specific points on the globe. It's kind of a weird knick-knack. There's not really anything in here that can help me with my project. With that, I turn and make my way back to the front office. Suddenly, a familiar lynx rounds the corner. Alright, so this next scene is the big one, where shit's gonna hit the fan. I can kind of tell we're all a little bit tired tonight. We're also getting near our cutoff point, so should we just call it here for tonight?
We probably should. At least I'm getting drowsy.
We should.
Okay.
I'm
so
excited for it too. That's the frustrating thing, but that's why I want to stick now. So I'm not like Oh gosh, what is
Yeah,
that?
that was the thing. Is like I was gonna say, this is kind of like the point of no return. Like once we do this scene, things go whack, like full on in Flynn's
Yeah.
route.
Okay.
So I think it would be a good idea to save this for next week. So for now, let's say
sure
goodbye,
so.
everyone.
Wait.
Bye.
Bye.